Hello and welcome back. I'm continuing my series on motherhood because that's who I am. It's what I do. It's who I feel very called to serve. Is I help moms become calm, confident, and healthy through my Finding Freedom program. And today I want to talk about some mom truths because I think we all have this understanding. And it probably goes without saying, but I feel like sometimes you just need to say things and they just need to be said and they need to be out in the open because when we say things, we find freedom in that, right? Because it doesn't have its hold on us. When we say something, we get it out and it loses its grip. And so I just want to share some mom truths that I have learned and I have come across. And maybe they're the elephant in the room, maybe they're not, but I cannot believe how little support there is for moms, you guys. Like, I'm appalled. Like, if you look around at the resources for moms, there's a MOPS maybe. What other resources are there for moms? And if your church doesn't have a MOPS group, perhaps it has a similar group for moms, right? Like, maybe there's groups in the church, but aside from that, what is there? I can't think of anything. And I tried MOPS and I thought it was great for fellowship and making community and building rapport with other women in the same season of life. But what I struggled with MOPS, and maybe this is just my experience, is it felt very much like the blind leading the blind. And I really came into motherhood and I knew that I didn't want to recreate what I came from. My mom was a working mom, um, partially because she was a single mom and she had to do that. But I knew for me, I didn't want to work full time. I wanted to be more of the stay-at-home mom. But I struggled with that because I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have anybody modeling that for me. I remember when our daughter was first born, I thought that being a stay-at-home mom meant having like a perfect house when my husband came home and having dinner on the table and making sure that our daughter's needs were met and she was fed and had clean clothes and her diapers changed and this and that. And that was like my frame of reference. And that came from watching TV. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just don't feel like there's a lot of equipping and empowering for moms in how to do things differently than maybe what they came from. And if I'm mistaken, please let me know because I looked and I looked and I did not find anything. I know that there's Hearts at Home. I love that. I don't believe that's still operating anymore. I read several of Jill Savage's books. Like, I have so many books on motherhood because I was trying to figure this out for myself. And it's hard. It's also very lonely. Motherhood is very lonely and isolating. And I feel like for me, so much of my schedule depended on my kids and nap times and keeping things on their schedule. And so if you had friends who had kids in a different season or who didn't have kids at all, like that just got real hard to finagle schedules. And so I think I got to a point eventually where I'm like, this is just too hard. I'm just gonna stay home, do my thing, maybe run some errands, go to the park, go for a walk, like find something to do to get out of the house. But it was very lonely and isolating. And I think now that my kids are in school, obviously that's better, but those early years are really lonely and isolating. And I think they're actually the hardest because if you are trying to do things differently than what you came from, and here you are with this child that you don't feel like you know how to raise because you're not prepared or equipped or don't have the resources, it was a hard time. It was a really hard time for me. I think the other thing that needs to be addressed is the judgment. I cannot get over the judgment from moms. Like, why do we think we need to judge other moms for what they do or how they spend their time or if they work or don't work or if they breastfeed or don't breastfeed or if they're on their phone at the park or if they're not? Like, for the love, can we just stop with the judgment and love and encourage and support and come alongside of each other? Like, the judgment was already real bad before COVID was a thing. And now I feel like it's taken to a whole nother level because moms have different opinions on masks and vaccinations. And so now we just added more fuel to the fire, ladies, and we don't need to do that. We are in this together. Let's stick together. Let's focus on the common good of raising kind, respectful human beings who have a hope and a future and who turn out to be happy, successful, productive members of society. And by successful, I don't necessarily mean like having a good job and a big house. I mean successful contributing members of society who are kind and have compassion and care about other people and are generous and want to make a difference. So these are just some random mom thoughts that I've had. I've kind of been doing some exciting things in my coaching lately. You may have heard on the last couple of podcasts, and you'll hear the promo at the end of this one as well, but just really focusing on some things in the mom space that I feel like really we need to have a space for. We need to have space, we need to have community, we need to have support for, because I don't know that this is talked about as often as it should be. And again, I feel like when we talk about things, they lose their power. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you back next week. Bye.